Hey interwebs, it is Jackie K. And with how much post-production went into the last team preview and none live production, I decided to try to do the opposite. This way you can actually see my team in advance. As I go through, I can actually show them off individually. And you can actually see their move sets and IVs and all that good stuff. As you might guess from the theming of my Pokemon, this weekend I'm going to do a Twilight Cup in honor of the Mirror Cup format for this month. I essentially got two different formats going in. There's going to be the Twilight Cup I do this weekend, and at the end of the month I'm going to try to host my own Rainbow Cup. Mostly just because I was such a fan of my Rainbow Cup team that I wanted to use them again. And things like Quagsire aren't going to be showing up in the meta too much, I foresee. Especially with Swampert getting Hydro Cannon and sharing the same type. But I'm going to be focusing on Twilight Cup for today. So let's get into it. I think, like before, I'll try to go from quote-unquote least to most interesting in terms of uniqueness and storytelling, not necessarily most optimal or that. In fact, the most optimal will probably be showed off first in per case of Swimmer Speed here. Oops. One thing I didn't show off before is the IV set, so this is what Swimmer Speed has. I'm pretty happy with it. Obviously, there's always room for perfection, but back when I put this Azumarill together for Rainbow Cup, pretty happy with it then, and I'm still happy with it now. It's got your typical Azumarill moveset of Bubble, Play Rough, and Ice Beam. I am half tempted to change Bubble to Rock Smash, just because with this meta there's going to be so many Dark types to worry about. And the only thing that Bubble would have a huge advantage over is things like Tyranitar. But I think with Tyranitar's double weakness to fighting, Rock Smash would still be better. In fact, the only thing I can really think of for Bubble over Rock Smash is Stab and the counteract any Ghost types that come out here. But I don't really see myself using Swimmer's Bee against a Ghost type. I guess it'll also come down to how much better Bubble is at powering up my charge moves in comparison to Rock Smash. I think that's the reason why Bubble is the typical, quote-unquote, traditional moveset for this sort of thing. Up next here, we have just your typical Toxicroak. If you're going into a Twilight Cup, you pretty much are required to bring one of these. Funny enough though, just because of how late, I guess, I got into this Silph League meta in comparison to others, this is the first Toxicroak I raised. I just evolved and leveled it up like the other day. It's got a pretty generic moveset from what I understand, Counter, Sludge Bomb, and Mud Bomb. But for everything I read, it's like Mud Bomb is vital for Tyranitar, as well as a bunch of other poison types you might counteract along the way. Sludge Bomb would probably be good for the fairy types, and Counter just because it's one of its better quick moves. Not too much else to say about that. If you're curious why nicknamed Swimmer's Bee, check out the Rainbow Cup team preview. Roxanne, well, if you watch the anime, it's pretty self-explanatory, considering the role that not necessarily Toxicroak but Krogan plays. And it's a girl, so I added the Ann at the end, just to make it a little more feminine. Plus it plays into another joke. I'll probably keep it to myself for now. I guess if I'm going in order from least to most to talk about, I guess my Gardevoir would be the next case. Because as much as I'm a fan of Gardevoir, it's your typical Gardevoir. I evolved it during Community Day. It does have a nice IV spread, I believe. Not the best. Definitely could use more HP. but I'll take what I can get. Right now it's got Charm, Synchronize, and Shadow Ball. I was debating whether or not to waste the TM to try to get move Dazzling Gleam to a different move. But everything I was looking up online was saying that this was a good set for Gardevoir. Maybe changing Charm for Confusion. But I don't know, I feel like if I'm gonna have a Fairy type for this meta, I would want a Fairy type move. And I have been meaning to try out Charm with all the good things I hear about it. Oh, I guess one thing I forgot to mention about Yukiko is... Yukiko is a name that I kind of designated to Gardevoirs. Because it's in honor of one of my favorite characters from Persona 4. That's what it is in a nutshell. Anyways, I was debating who to go for next. Beyond the typical interruption excuses. And I guess I'll go with Muck I got here. Just this week, I was trying to get a good Alolan Muck for PvP. So I did some trades with the local community. This is... Obviously I could use a lot more when it comes to the perfect IV set. But this was the best one I could get at the time. Out of everything I traded on that day, this is the one thing that was both under the CP level of 1500 and also the best IVs out of those. Funny story though, when I was trading to try to get a low IV Grimer, well, of course, I get this as a lucky trade. That's the way the cookie crumbles. One time you actually don't want to get a lucky, you end up getting a freaking lucky. But I mean, I did want to have a Alolan Muck because Poison Dark is just a real good typing. Resists a lot of things and is only weak to ground type moves. I guess that's another reason why having Mud Bomb on Toxicroak is so prominent. Because you pretty much need to deal with the Poison Dark types. You can just assume a team's either going to have a Stunk Tank, an Alolan Muck, or both. As for the move pool, I'll admit I am a little iffy about what to do with it. Just trying to see what power is without scrolling too far down, excuse me. I got Poison Jab, because everything I hear is that Bite is terrible and you should never use it. Plus, Poison Jab will give me an opportunity to go up against any fairy types that I do come across. I'm not so sure if I want to go with Acid Spray or the more solid damaging move of Sludge Bomb. But as you can see here, Acid Spray lowers the opponent's defense when you hit them with it, which could be pretty critical in a PvP matchup. I just never had an opportunity to use it before now. And I got Dark Pulse for my Dark type move. You know, how much weight do I want to put on Tyranitar, cause how badly do I need a Dark type move? Maybe I could go with both poisons? I'll look more into that in the future. I thought I was done, but of course I find something else to go with. Oh, speaking of, I actually didn't showcase my Tyranitar yet. Again, it's not the ideal moveset for PvP. It's actually probably be worthwhile powering up, but never fear, I already have a lucky shiny Tyranitar. And this was the only Tyranitar left that was both had Smackdown and was under the 15 CP mark. So when I heard people after people recommending Tyranitars on their team, I wanted to try it out myself. Its moveset isn't too spectacular. It's got your typical Smackdown, Stone Edge, and Crunch. But having that Rock type move will be pretty critical. Again, some of the things in this meta like Golbat, Venomoth, and other bug slash flying types that may sneak their way in there. There is quite a story with this Tyranitar, but to summarize in a nutshell, I was training it with a friend, or should I say I was trading with a friend, and they traded me their shiny Pupitar, mostly because they didn't really care too much about shinies and were trying to get candy, I think, or something like that. And of course it turned lucky. For a long time I didn't even want to evolve it up, but I think during the return of Community Day for December, I decided just to go for it because when would I get another opportunity? I guess maybe in Fury this December? But we don't know that for sure. Anyways, I honestly don't know why I named the team Beetle. I probably didn't even spell Beetle right. It was either probably because as a Pupitar it looked like a beetle, or just the team part is because it's so low CP. I know that part. But why a beetle? We'll just say that as a spelling. And Stitch Toxie is kind of just in honor of the person who traded it to me. With a play of words. They just felt like two words that went together. That includes some special mention to the person that traded it to me. And last but not least, we have this Purified Golbat. And as much as I would love to say that it has the move set that includes the charge move Return, I thought about it for a bit, and it's just like, I could see potential for Return in the right meta where you just can't get super effective damage, but one good shield killer. Because Return is like a 3-bar move, like it moves almost as fast as Poison Fang, but Poison Fang moves just slightly faster and gives me stab. So that's why I ultimately decided on getting rid of Return for Shadow Ball. Wing Attack is also your typical Golbat move, because again, avoid Bite like the Plague is the lesson I've gotten from all the PvP research I've done. Plus, Wing Attack is really good for Toxicroak. You may be wondering why I didn't evolve it all the way to the Crobat. Well, apparently because of how useful Poison Fang is, and the fact that when evolved, Crobat gets Sludge Bomb and not Poison Fang, it's actually more useful to have it as a Golbat for that reason alone. Oh yeah, IV spread, not bad for a Purified Pokemon. Like, I did check out all the Golbats slash Zubats I have, and that's the best I got. And Cranky Bat's just was a fun name for a while with a Shadow Pokemon. And to be fair, it's still a little bit cranky of a Pokemon if you really look at it. Random trivia while I'm at it though. I actually do have a Crobat that I could have used for PvP, except it is perfect IV, so I was trying to avoid that at all possible. Jeez, I think even with cutting out what I did, this is still going to run a bit long, so I'll just end it off here. Hopefully this works as a good compensation, because I was originally going to do a gaming show for this particular day, because I was behind on commentaries for Pokemon battling, and with the Twilight Cup tournament I'm having this weekend, it didn't really seem right to actually go into the Jungle Cup only to break away to showcase my Twilight Cup, so I figured I'd do a team preview instead. Thank you all for tuning in. And next week, I should at least have enough of my Twilight Cup edited to showcase it with y'all. Take care.